Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas, they have reached a decision on their custody battle.
Yeah.
The kids will be able to spend 2 weeks
at least through the end of the year.
They'll be able to spend 2 weeks in the U.S. and 2 weeks in the U.K. I don't think that's a sustainable living for your life. Right. I think growing up, that could be really difficult. School, friendships, all of that. If you want to live the most normal life you can as a celebrity kid, I would imagine flying back from the U.S. and the U.K. every 2 weeks is not the best way. But it's one of those things that I'm feeling a bit.
And it hasn't said, Sophie didn't say that she will take them to the U.K. She said, or I guess the document said she wants to take them for the holidays. But if she does want to take them, she can.
She can, yes. Yeah. You know, of course we talk about these things and people want our opinion, right? But sometimes when it comes to things like this, I'm just like, I don't feel like it's my place. And I just said it's not a sustainable living because, of course, you have an opinion, right? It comes out. And then I stop myself and I go, but at the same time,
these are not my kids.
It's not your kids.
Yeah.
So what can you do when you're in a sticky situation like this? They need to figure it out. And of course, you can have, you have your opinion. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? It's like, well, that's probably not going to work. But then you go, okay, well, yeah, it's their kids.
Definitely.
I can imagine people in their lives are saying the first thing that they're coming to their minds going,
that's not sustainable.
It's not going to work.
And yeah, I think you're probably right on that, which is why I feel like they're going to have to make a permanent decision when they do have to make a permanent decision. Like people wrote, as for the future, the agreement requires that the parties shall jointly submit a status report letter prior to December 23rd, outlining the status of mediation between the two at that point. So it's kind of feels like they have this agreement in place now, but before the end of the year, they will have to present a more long-term agreement, and hopefully it doesn't get messy, but that could be where it's a little harder to come up with a permanent agreement if Sophie does want to have the kids in the UK permanently, which, she claims that is the plan that they had, that they were all ready to do that, and the house was locked in and they were ready to make the move, and then this happened. I find myself just ending at the same place every time I think about this or read an article or see it. I'm like, God, what happened to these two?
Where did it all go wrong?
Where did it all go wrong? How did we get here?
I know.
I'm like, how did we get here? Oh,
what I find myself thinking about
it's all happened so fast.
I know. What I find myself thinking about is The English Roses, the book, that Madonna's book about the kids living in England. And I go, oh, man. Because I grew up here, you go, what was it like growing up there? Yeah. And The English Roses is my favorite books when I was a kid. And so I think about these kids growing up in the UK. And I'm like, go there, try it out,
Those are Madonna's children's books, by the way.
Yeah, Madonna used to write books. And I don't know if she still does. I'm saying used to because when I was a kid, I used to read these books called The English Roses. And it actually came up on my TikTok the other day, and I was really happy to see it because I don't see enough people talking about The English Roses. Yeah. They don't talk about them enough. But maybe if Sophie and Joe's kids live in the UK, they'll pick up their own copy of The English Roses and read it and feel like they're living it. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
But where did it all go wrong between these two?
Where did it all go wrong? Ugh, breaks my heart.
Man.
I finished Beckham last night, and it makes you think, like, good for them. Like, they're still together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, there's been their fair share of issues, and I think David's made his fair share of mistakes as well. I don't really know about all the allegations, but it does feel like one had some pretty good, and I don't know, just the way David reacted. Yeah, he was like teary-eyed and was like, "We're not going to talk about it." Like, if something didn't happen, he would be screaming from the rooftops that nothing happened.
And they sued a couple people and didn't sue one person.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was kind of confused how they kind of glossed over the details about what.
Well, I guess because it's their lives, and if they
documentary,
if they figured it out on their own, they can kind of let people go. All right, well, they didn't deny it, so let's assume that it did happen, and they figured it out.
Yep.